Good morning. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm very excited to be here this morning. I'm trying to get my lighting correct. Let me click it again. My director is not here. That's too yellow. That's just about right. Look at our gingerbread house, y'all. It's been a long time coming and a lot of work making. I'm Diane Pruitt. I am the proprietor of Two Girls Treasure right here in Florence, South Carolina. We're just off I-95, located at the PD State Farmers Market. Guess what this weekend is? The flower show. It is for real. This weekend is the flower show. We had to reschedule. A little bump in the road, a little bit of water, a little bit of wind, but we survived just fine. Good morning, Lynette. Guess what we're gonna do today? I'm so excited. Today we will put snow on the roof. And while the snow is drying, we're going to blend the colors on the body of this gingerbread house. I'm very excited. I'm so excited, I think I left my container of salt wash out of my reach. However, you know I have another one right here. So I'm gonna grab my salt wash and a cup to mix it. This is not the official salt wash mixing cup, but don't fear, I'm not mixing a large quantity, so I don't need my giant mixing cups. If you pop in, say good morning, let me know you're here, ask me questions, because a lot of this work I've had to do when we were not live. A lot of this work I've had to do in between customers, and I'm gonna pull this up, there we go, so that I can see if you're here and make sure that we're here. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Stacy. How are you? So we have our salt wash this morning and we're going to make snow. Before we make snow, do you want to see the whole thing? You do. I promise you do. So I have used so many different molds on this. It's amazing. I've used pieces from the acanthus scrolls and medallions and frames and the brand new Holly Lane and baubles and cameos and last year's snowflakes. And this is from Trimmings 3. Now I want to show you this specifically. Let me bring you in on this piece right here. Let me get you close, and here's why. That's clay. These are resin. This is clay. But you know what? When I did this, I got busy and I forgot to paint it. Now, you've heard me tell you 100 times, when you seal it, you prevent the shrinking. Well, you know what? There's just a teeny tiny little gap right here where I mitered. Nothing major. That's all the shrinkage that we experienced from the IOD air dry clay. That is amazing. Now, my chimney, I'm pretty proud of this chimney. Let me ease you back out so you can see the whole chimney. Because you know, when you're making something up as you go, you can make it any way you want. And I made the chimney out of the baubles mold. Look at that. Those are just like old mercury glass molds. We're gonna make that our chimney. Why not? Why not, as Ariel says? The inside got an additional fresh coat of white paint. There's some little bitty spots that are gonna be tough to get to. I'll do the detail work, but today I wanna show you all the goodness. And we did some more frames molds. I had some stars, and this is acanthus scroll, and of course last year's snowflakes. So let's get to getting. How many people have seen or remember or participated with me while I was doing what we call the princess triple dresser? That was a huge project. I don't know that I have a picture I can get to easily, but if you know the dresser, it was done in blues and in pearl and some gold. And I thought, this needs to be that. This needs to be that too. I'm gonna take my salt wash and I'm probably gonna empty this container because it's almost out. So we're gonna go ahead and tink all that down in there. Boy, I am gonna have to go get my bag. You know why? My glitter is in my bag. My glitter's in there. And I have I cleaned everything up and forgot to go get my bag. Can you wait for me for just a quick minute and let me go get my bag? We're closed in the morning, so I'm the only one in here. I'll hurry. Clock me, Lynette. That was quick. I can move pretty quick for an old girl. I did some things over the weekend, but I had my brand new salt wash because you gotta have brand new salt wash on a new project. And I did a thing with a board, and I did a thing with a bunting and some flour sack towels. And I have the most spectacular leaky glitter ever. I love these things. They come in shaker containers. I love these. See? They have a shaker container top, just like your spices, but they leak. So they make a mess, and I keep them in a plastic bag. Sorry, y'all. Just when I think I have my life together, I forget something. But, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, I have all the colors. I have my Hydrangea Kiss. And to blend with that, train's on time, I have my Peacock Feather. I also am going to use Cloud because that's what we're going to base in. I have my Violet Shadow because we're going to blend so there can be highlights and lowlights, right? And I also have my Morning Mist. I have my gold. I have my copper. And I have my Precious Pearl. This will bring it all together. This will bring it all in focus. First things very first, snow. We're going to start with our cloud. Our Rethunk Junk Cloud is our purest white, and I used this a lot yesterday. There we go. I did clean the lid, but it's almost empty. So it gets neglected when it gets almost empty, doesn't it? Now I'm going to water this down just a little bit. My continuous mister. I'm gonna swish it because I want that water to move around in that paint. I want more salt wash than paint this time. Usually it's the other way around, but we're not gonna sand this salt wash. We're not gonna take it off once we put it on. So I want more salt wash than I do paint. So we're gonna take this and we're just gonna pour into the cup. It's gonna be a little thin, that's okay. We're gonna pour a little at a time. We want that pure white, but we want that chunky goodness that we get when we mix our salt wash with our paint. There we go. I need more paint, but that's okay. I'm gonna stir this best I can. It is just like cooking. You stir it, you don't wanna add too much right now. And the salt wash is gonna take on a little bit of a grayish color, which is why we're using the cloud, the pure white. Put a little bit more in. We are almost ready for a new container of cloud. How about that? All right, we'll stir and stir. I really cleaned up my table this morning, y'all. And it took some time to get done. We're gonna stir and stir. I'm over here in front of the house. Isn't it amazing? What do you think? Lynette, thank you very much for your compliment. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being here this morning. If you have subscribed on YouTube, thank you so very much. My heart does a little happy dance every time I see new subscribers on YouTube. It's like a new accomplishment. We're almost to 5,500 likes, followers. 5,500 followers on Facebook. I know that's not gangbusters millions like some people have, but you know, for a little old country vintage shop, we sure are proud of what we've done here. I sure am proud of what we've all accomplished here. It's been a lot of fun. Crazy little journey this has been. But look at the tools and the friends and the fun we have made. We have lots of amazing paint colors from Rethunk Junk by Laura. We have Iron Orchid Designs products by Josie and Sally. We have Salt Wash, which comes from Wilmington, North Carolina, all family owned and operated companies. And we have a vintage store full of amazing things like this dollhouse. This was just sitting here, y'all. Nobody else in the world wanted it. People thought about it. We thought about it. Some folks thought about it, but nobody ever committed to it. And I guess it was just waiting for me. That's okay. That's all right. If you're with us, say good morning. Thank you so much for being here while I mix up my salt wash and cloud to make snow. Now I've got, there we go. We've got the right mix now. Can you see? It's nice and thick and chunky like snow. So we're going to dash some of this up on the rooftop. I do have a reindeer, but he is completely out of proportion, so we'll not use him. And I'm going to solo view just the dollhouse for you right now. We're gonna go to the roof. Look at all those cedar shakes on that roof. That was a lot of work. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, that was a lot of crazy, crazy work. I'm gonna grab a fluffy paintbrush that I have used almost to death. These are the best kinds of paintbrushes to use with your salt wash when they are just about done being anything else in life. They can be a great salt wash brush. There we go. I'll wipe my mixing stick off and let's start up here on the peaks. And let's add some salt wash in this groove and it'll help close it up. And where we don't close it up, it'll be okay. We can use our DAP silicone caulking and we can close that in. There we go. A little down the edges, just a little pile up of snow. Usually, now we don't get a lot of snow around here, so I'm not really well versed in where snow lands, but I think in the valleys right here is a good place. Snow has a tendency to build up in the valleys, doesn't it? I think so. I think it does. I may need to get a smaller brush to do those valleys. I don't want it spread out real far. We'll do this. Look how beautiful that salt wash, that chunky salt wash looks. Just like piled up snow, fresh snow on the roof. Look at that. I love a salt wash when I want texture and I want color over color. But when you're doing some of your specialty projects this season, when you're entertaining the children and you want them to do something besides run crazy, grab some salt wash and some paint and some blocks of wood and give them some cheap chip paint brushes and let them make something special. Children love to create things too, and it will definitely give you a little bit of a break. You can drink your coffee while they're painting. All right, let's see. I'll just fill in that gap right there. All right, if you're from the northern climes where you get snow, pipe in. I am always open to your wonderful suggestions about where snow lands on a roof, because we just don't get it very often. And I know if my sister comes on here, she's going to say something about I should know. I do not. I do not. In case you did not know when you listened to me talk, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. I was born in Bangor, Maine. So I should know, but I just don't. I was little when we moved. So I just don't remember seeing big snow. Here we go. A little bit on the edges, a little bit on the top, a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna make sure to put some on these edges because we are going to add icicles. So this is how we're going to create a cascade of snow on the roof of this gingerbread house. And this will be such a magic piece, not your traditional gummy drop, gingerbread, red, and you know I'm so non-traditional when it comes to things like that. A little bit of snow up this edge right here. I dream it. And when you're creating what you dream up, it can't be like anybody else's because it's your dream. Right? Love that, love it. A little bit right there because we're going to put some icicles. I'll do that smaller paintbrush and get those peaks right there. Here we go. Just a little cast of snow across the roof. That gives us the holiday magic. I was going to turn Christmas music on, but I thought that might be too much right this minute. It's going to be in the 70s today. People say the warm weather makes it not feel like Christmas. No, it feels like Christmas. That doesn't come from the weather. That comes from a whole other place. All right, look at our snow-capped roof line. And we'll do a little bit more here. I really want to get to the blending of the colors today because I want you to see, again, on a smaller scale, how simple and easy it is to blend Rethunk Junk paint colors. They're water-based. Salt wash is perfect, a perfect complement with your water-based Rethunk Junk paint. So you can blend your salt wash, you can blend your colors. There we go. There we go. All right. How about that? Perfect. I'm loving it. All right. A little bit more. We'll do those. Do that right there. Oh yeah, a nice good chunk right there in the corner of the roof. A little bit on those edges. Because snow falls down, right? When it piles up, it piles down. Is that right? All right. Here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. All right, and now let's pile this a little bit in. This top eave right here. Definitely gonna have a icicle right there. And we can add a little bit more snow wherever we want, because it's definitely, when it snows, you have a dusting all over, don't you? That one's kind of protected by the side of the house, right? So we wouldn't have near as much there. I don't think, I could be wrong. Here we go. Your salt wash is so much fun to play with. It doesn't have to be a doll house, it doesn't have to be a gingerbread house, but it is just simply so much fun to play with and manipulate and maneuver around and create textural finishes so that your finished product, whether you're sanding back to do a color over a color or a color under a color, you have this, you have a look that you really cannot achieve any other way. No matter what paint brand you say does it the same, it does not. This is different. Every product finishes differently. Every one does. Let's dust the roof. And I'm going to spritz a little water. Your salt wash and your paint, it will dry up. Remember, it's a silicate product, so it will dry up. You can always add a little bit of water back to it and stir it around and go again. There's your big chunky right there. There you go. Dust the roof. We want a little bit on that chimney too. We'll put an icicle right there. Put a nice big chunk of snow off the top. And snow on the corner. Here we go. Now what do you think about dust the roof with some snow all the way around? Get the look consistent all the way over, because it's a gingerbread and it's a winter home. A winter home for the fairies. I like that. We'll put some up here on the roof, on the peak of the roof. We're just gonna dust these shingles with some snow. Here we go. Just dust it along. And this will have, even though I'm just tamping the paint across, it'll have a little bit of texture because it has that salt wash. It has that little chunkiness going on. Ooh, you saw it fly. There we go. It'll have that texture to it. If you're local, come on by anytime and take a look at this before it goes to its new home. And if you're local and you want to build your own, don't forget Tuesday evening. Gotta pull my sweater sleeve up. Tuesday evening, that will be the 18th, right? We will host a workshop. We will start at 5:45 p.m. That way you can get into the market before they close the gates. And we will build gingerbread houses. They will not be this large. They will be those smaller hand-cut wood boxes that I showed you before, but we can embellish them and make them magic just like this, even though they're smaller. And the way the boxes are built, they're perfect for putting your gifts in for Christmas. Or you can just create a beautiful heirloom that will rest on your mantle or one of your Christmas shelves for years to come. All right, we got some good snow built up right there. There we go. And just like that, there's snow in South Carolina. How about that? All right, we'll put our salt wash to the side, and I'll bring you back in to the body. We'll start right here in the peaks because we're going to blend colors. We'll start with our base color of Hydrangea Kiss, our Rethunk Junk Hydrangea Kiss. Now, on the body right now, we have a base of cloud just because the Luan was so old and so dry, and we needed something on there. Then we put a solid coat of Morning Mist on. Now the Morning Mist is just as gentle, light blue as you could ask for. But we want a little bit richer, magical princess finish, fairy tale finish. And we're going to take several brushes to accomplish what we're doing. I'm gonna double screen you for a sec. Gracie, good morning. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. There we go. All right, brushes. You know I'm gonna use my Miracle brush. This gets in amazing crevices and it does a great job of streamlining. Plus it's got this huge handle so I don't have to be right up here. I can be way out here. So my Miracle brush, plus I am going to use my 1-inch brushes. I'm going to use, hang on, I just had it. This is too big. Unfortunately today, this is too big because this would be a great blending brush. This is not my Wooster, this is a Purdy. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I used this and it's just too soft for me. It's not a stiff enough bristle for me. I guess that makes sense. I didn't love it, but I think it would make a great blending brush. But not on this project. It is way too big. Miss Judy, I'm so glad you're here. So glad to see you here because we're going to blend paint. You know I love to. I'm going to take a variety of smaller brushes. So I have everything I need right here at my fingertips. I just didn't have the glitter, but I've got the glitter now. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because I'm blending my colors, I'm gonna mist my brush. I want my brush damp. I'm gonna keep my bottle close by in case I need to spritz the actual body, which I'm going to, so that my colors move together where I want them. All right, now let's get some of this Hydrangea Kiss started. And if you have any questions at all while I'm going, I can see your questions. I can see the screen just fine this morning. I have my glasses on and my hair's out of my eyes. Even if I get the Hydrangea Kiss and the blended colors in places where I don't want it, it's okay. I can come back and repaint over these. I'm just going to use this as my base for everything else. So don't panic because I suddenly have blue holly. Now I've already put the decoupage paper right here on this window. I could not help myself. I had to see what it was going to look like. I'm going to go up into the peaks a little bit too. And I'm not terribly worried about the full detail on this window trim because we'll fill that in as we go. I do want to make sure that I cover all the molds so that I can blend them with the different colors as I go. Now, if you're blending paints, do a section at a time. You don't need to do everything. Just do a section at a time so that you can get a good color blend. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to come in with one of my 1/2-inch brushes. This is kind of a little ragged edge brush, see? But it's going to help me with my peacock feather because I want to put some highlights of peacock feather blue in here, and I don't want it heavy, but I want it blendable. So little bit of peacock feather on my brush. That might be too much. We'll tamp it off a little. And I'm gonna spritz this, y'all. I'm gonna spritz it because I want this to move. So I'm gonna come in around some edges here. And as I'm tamping it, it's gonna do the blending thing. It really does it naturally. Just let it. Just let it. Blending shouldn't be something that you think terribly hard about. You don't want to overthink your blending, or then it'll be mechanical. And blending is such a fluid movement. Just let it happen. I'm going to tamp some of that on there, and I'm going to leave that. I'm going to tunk my brush down in the water, and now I'm going to grab my violet shadow. All these colors work perfectly well together. Let your violet shadow literally be the shadow. Does that make sense? You don't want it heavy. You don't want it to be the prominent color in this blend. So just take a little bit and let's highlight our shadowed edges. Down low, underneath, down low again, and underneath here. I'm going to spritz it again so it doesn't dry out. I'm not trying to liquefy it. I just don't want it to dry before I have the chance to move these together. A little bit more on this corner right here. And we'll set that to the side. Now, here comes the big blend. I'm going to find a nice, squishy, round brush. It's not very big, but we're doing a gingerbread house, so it shouldn't be. Spritz it, and let's get this pearl out, y'all. Let's get this pearl on there, because pearl is going to be everything magic to the finish of this gingerbread. All right, the brush, the pearl, the blend. Just move it around, spritz it and blend it. Don't over mix it. Get more pearl, go again. Let that pearl load it up, load it up. Now, there are so many ways you could do this. Please don't think I'm teaching you a way that you don't know, don't understand. If you have your way of blending, you blend and make it beautiful the way you see it. I don't have a rule to blending other than don't let it dry out. That's the blending rule. Don't let it dry out. Don't oversaturate it, but don't let it dry out. I'm going to rinse my brush, tamp it off a little, and I'm going to get some more pearl. We're going to go again. I want pearl highlights all over this. And they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be measured. I sort of want them symmetrical, a little neurotic like that, but just let yourself have some fun with the color and the blend. Let it be fun, just a spritz, just a little spritz. I don't want, see how it's running down? I don't want to do a drip paint technique on this, but I do want that color. And look at that pearl movement. As it starts to tack up, you may want to move it around a little. I don't want big drips, but of course, with the snow, with the cast of the snow, it might not be bad to have some pearl drips. We could do that. This is the part where you can make it up as you go. And if you like it, let it live. And if you don't, paint over it. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a closer look at just that peak. What do you think? It has the makings of a winter coloration. Oh yeah, I see it here now. Oh my. All right, so now I'm gonna rinse my brush again, my pearl brush. I'm gonna rinse that off. All right, there we go. Tamp it off a little bit. I'm gonna leave my pearl brush sitting. I'm gonna roll some classic gold resin metals in there while it's wet, because while it's wet I get a nice blend of the colors. I get a nice movement of the colors. It's not so perfect, and that's kind of nice to me. I'm gonna take a teeny little brush. Look at that. And good morning, Joe. How are you? Oh, you should have been here while I was putting snow on. I could have used your good advice. We're going to highlight just some little pieces in gold. We'll do right around the inner edge of the window frame. This is from the Frames mold set, and this is cast in resin. All right, let's see. And when you come to the workshop on Tuesday evening, we will use this mold, this casting, to create windows for your gingerbread house too. There we go. I like the gold blended with the other colors. I like it. I like it. I want a gold center on that. And I want gold peaks, gold tips on that. That's so cute. And let's do the peaks on here. Just divot them. Just a little dot will do it. Just a little dot will do it. There we go. Just divot those peaks on the acanthus scrolls. And maybe just a little edge for emphasis. There we go. Oh, that's a nice blend right there. The paint's still nice and wet. There's still enough moisture on there from spritzing it. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. There's enough moisture on there that it's allowing it to just settle. And that's a nice finish to it. There we go. I want to do that top edge right here. There we go. And this part takes patience. Don't get in a hurry. This is not the time to be in a hurry. There we go. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I'm gonna divot the center of this gumdrop up here. I want a little bit brighter gold, so I'm gonna divot it again. There we go. And we'll come back with our green over our holly, and we'll do some red on the berries after we finish blending the body. Now, your resin metals, your metallic paints, no matter what brand you're using, your metallic paints are always going to be a little bit heavier than your regular paints. So you can see right here where your pearl is pulling it down. It's okay. Let it pull it down. It's metallic. Now let's do our body right here. Let's get these acanthus scrolls done. I love these. These are gonna look so beautiful. We'll do part of this edge while we're right here. We've got stars on this side, see? Let me bring you back down. I'm loving that. I am absolutely loving that. But let's come on down here on the body and let's do this section. I'm gonna do just the edge of the wall, just because I don't want to leave streaks of paint there while we're doing this part of the body. So we're gonna go ahead and get our hydrangea kiss on. It's okay if I create a line right there because we're gonna blend it. We're gonna spritz it so we keep it moisturized while we're working. Blending is all about keeping your paint moist. We're gonna be really careful on the rooftop. So I will probably grab a smaller brush. And since I didn't paint this clay before it dried, this is the first coat on the clay. So I'm really gonna need to make sure I've got that covered well. All right. Hydrangea Kiss is our base coat. And I'm gonna put a little bit more because we want a good solid base right here. We don't want to miss any spots. We're gonna blend with Hydrangea Kiss and Peacock Feather Blue. Let me grab my Peacock Feather Blue blending brush. I'm going to tamp some water out. Today's going to be the day I'm going to have to change the paper on my work table for all the resin and the color. I'm going to make sure I cover the brush really well, but I'm not going to overload it. I don't want to overload it because I don't want my Peacock Feathered Blue to be stronger than my other colors. So we're going to put some in our scrolls. And as we move it, as we blend it, we'll tone it down. It'll be okay. I'll do the corner right here. We want to make sure we hit that corner. Give it some shadowing effect with our stronger colors. So I'll leave that brush and I will grab my violet shadow. And I keep banging on the camera. All right, let me put this in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab another brush. Since we're on a larger portion, we'll bring that violet shadow down just a little bit. We want to shadow with our violet shadow. We'll bring it on down, and of course our corners, a little bit stronger shadowing in our corners. This is where your Bob Ross videos come in real handy. Because if you love watching Bob Ross, you've seen this happen. Put a little bit more in here. All right, now I'm going to take another brush completely. I want to take a nice soft small brush. I'm going to spritz this real good. First I'm going to spritz this, not to drip paint it. We're not trying to drip paint it. We're just going to run these colors in. We're going to bring them all to life. And let me move these together with this one brush real quickly. We don't want to take too long because you don't want it to dry. All right, now, there we go. A little here, a little there. I'm going to tick that back in, and here we go with our pearl. Our pearl is the belle of the ball. There we go. Move that pearl in between the moisture we have on here and the weight of the metallics. This is going to move very easily, so I don't need to pull real hard to get it into its place. You can see it kind of moving itself. And as I'm going, I'm getting the different colors. Morning, Alice. How are you, honey? As I move, you're going to get the different colors. I get the different colors on the brush, so I don't want to keep dipping into my pearl. I'm going to rinse my brush off so that my pearl can take the center stage. My pearl is blending the other colors and moving them into their space. And my pearl really is the center of everything we're doing here. The gold is our highlight, and our hydrangea kiss, peacock feather blue, and violet shadow are just players in the game. They are just giving us the magical finish that'll make this look just like a princess gingerbread lives here. And we can add all the pearl we want. I'm just making sure that I rinse. I'm gonna grab a wipe, and that'll help me keep my pearl a little bit cleaner. There we go. And Charlotte said I should have made the stars glow in the dark. We can still do that, Char. We can still do that. I got a little bit of pearl on the roof. I'll let it live right there in that snow. Oh, I love how the salt wash is drying on the peak of this roof right here. It's beautiful. Let's get this part. Let's blend this out. Let's get that pearl on there. When the pearl dries, over the tops is where we'll get more of a pearlescent appearance. Right now it looks really cool, but when it dries, we're really gonna have a sharp finish on this. Tink it in there, let it do its pearly thing. And I'm wiping my brush off in between coats so I don't get too much of this color in my container of pearl. So I really want to keep my pearl from being contaminated because I use it on everything, especially this time of year. And I might want pearl over, you know, like sunflower, or I might want pearl over red. And I don't want purple in my red. I might. That might look good. There we go. I know I listened to one of the makers explain one evening while I was watching her video, and it was such a cool video, that she does not worry about contaminating her container of paint. She just keeps mixing, she just keeps using it without cleaning off her brush, and that way she gets a finished paint color that's not definable and you can't replicate it. And you know what? That's kind of cool. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. What do you think? What do you think about the difference and the variegation in color? I kind of like it, y'all. Let's grab our gold. Let's grab our teeny little gold detail brush. This must be it right here. Of course, we have so many. Let's do this one. Let's grab a smaller, let's grab an even smaller one. I hope I'm not sticking my head too far into your line of sight here. So I'm frugal. I use the lid. I don't want to waste any of that paint. I'm gonna touch the edges of this star right here. So we have a nice gold star. Everybody needs a gold star. And just like we did the divots on the smaller pieces of acanthus, let's divot these and let's do the veins. Let's do those high points on it. Let's get that gold on there. Wipe it and go again. When in doubt, divot. Just touch those peaks, touch those veins. Swoosh your gold. No rules right here. There's absolutely no rules right here. It's probably why doing things like this is one of my favorite things to do. There are no rules here. I love no rules. There we go. I'm squishing that because I'm trying not to touch the other paint. So let me do this. I'm going to tamp some of that down. Oh, there. That's all it needed. I was going too heavy. All right, divots on our window. There we go. Little bits on the top. There we go. Little divots all the way around. Divots for everyone. Divots for you, divots for you. And maybe a little bit of highlight on the edges. On the inside edge. There we go. There we go. And after it dries, if anything looks too strong, just pearl over it again. Just pearl over it. You can pearl over it as many times as you want to. You can pearl it while it's wet. You can pearl it while it's dry. There we go. Now I'm just running my paintbrush sideways. I've got a little bit of gold on it, and I'm just hitting these high edges of this acanthus scroll casting. Just the high edges. There we go. Oh, how beautiful is that? Love the pearl for blending. Yes, Miss Judy. Yes, love the pearl. Love the way this looks. Absolutely love it. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're out of time. How does it go so fast? I don't know, but I'm in love with the way that looks. Let me bring you in a little closer before we go so you can see some of that detail. Look at that. What a dreamy, pearly, cast gold finish we have going on here. I don't know. What do you think, y'all? What do you think? Let's see. I was trying to get a dual. There we go. What do you think about that? Lynette, you love that? I'm just over the top. I think it's so beautiful. I love that top dormer. And look at the difference. We're here and we're here. Love the color blends. Let me kick back over to solo again. We'll just ooh and ah for just a minute. Let me take you back out to a full view. Miss Judy, you love it too? I'm so excited. And to think, nobody in the world, Joe, thank you. Nobody in the world wanted this dollhouse. I absolutely love to take pieces that nobody else wants and make them amazing and make them something that somebody wants and will treasure. I think this gingerbread house is spoken for a very special young lady for Christmas. I hope it all works out for her. However, if you would like to make a spectacular and amazing gingerbread house, a little bit smaller, then all you have to do is make your reservation for our in-person workshop, Tuesday, October 18th. We'll start at 5:45 p.m. We'll have some little snacky snacks. I might even make a pot of coffee. And we will create for 2 amazing hours. And we will make gingerbread houses of heirloom quality. Something that you can be proud that you made, and so something you can pass down through your generations. I think it'll be a good time. We might have to make a kit if you're not local. We can do that too. I'm Diane Pruitt, and if you've joined us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you've joined us on Facebook, I appreciate it. Please feel free to share this video, any of the videos that we do for Coffee and Create. You never know when your friends and family might love something we do, and I'd love for you to share it with them. I appreciate you being here. Hope you've enjoyed it, and look forward to the big finish of this amazing gingerbread dollhouse. Thank you so much for being here at Two Girls Treasure today. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Come by and see us anytime. Thanks so much for being here, y'all. Have a great day.